This quick tutorial is going to go over where to find the record's retention schedule and how to search it on the library's website. To start out, you'll start at the library's homepage, library.utesca.edu. Once you're here, you'll go to the I Want To box on the left side, and then click Access Records Management. This will take you to the records management page. You can spend a little time looking over this if you want to learn more about records management, but to get to the records retention schedule, you will click on this first link here, search the records retention schedule. This will open up in a new window and take you into the schedule here. There's quite a lot on the screen. There's just a couple things you should be aware of. The middle row here on this side will show you all the records here. You can literally just scroll through these if you want to, look around, browse. On the left side in these boxes, these are filters. So later on when you're searching, you can kind of go through and click on things to filter your results. The only thing you'll need to be aware of right away is make sure that you have records retention schedule checked here. This will make sure that everything that's showing up on the right side is a records retention schedule item. The other thing to be aware of right away is the search box up in the top right. You'll be using this quite a lot to search for records. It's usually the fastest way to get what you're looking for. There is an advanced search option, but for the most part, the basic search will probably suit your needs. So with that, we're going to go over a couple examples that will show you how to search the records retention schedule. So for our first example, we're going to pretend that we're part of the university police, and we're interested in finding out how long traffic citation appeals are to be kept. So the fastest way to search for that is to use the search box. So if you go to the search box and just type in appeals, and then search, you'll see that you get 4 options back, and these are each ones that reference that particular search that you did. Now, in this case, the search is pretty simple because we only got 4 records back, and it's pretty easy to find out which one is the right one since we're looking specifically for police records. So we know that it's the second option here. Now, if you did get more options back than this, say for example you got an entire page of results, there is an easier way to use the filters to narrow down your search. So for example, over here on the left side, under category section, you see that there's one option labeled as a police record. So you could click on that and it will remove all the other options and just narrow down to police records for you. Under record series title, you'll also see that there is traffic citation appeals. So this is also a very easy way to narrow down what you're looking for so you don't have to browse through a whole bunch of results. You can also narrow by department. So since we're looking for university police, you could click here as well. Or use the agency number. This is not used quite as much, but it is just another useful option to narrow your search down. So once you have your list of results, you can browse through them. And in this case, again, it is very easy. We know that we're looking for police records. We know we're looking for traffic citation appeals from the university police. So this is a really easy way to find what you're looking for. This is the fastest way to browse. So that was the way to do it if you were looking for using a very generic search. For example, you could also make a little bit more of a narrowed search. So for example, if you were using the search box and you typed in appeals police, you would get back the same option, but not get the other options as well. And so there are pluses and minuses to using searches like this. You could use a more narrowed search with more words, but you may get back less results and it may leave out results that you're looking for. So sometimes it is useful to start searching with a more broad single word search and see what you get back. And if it's becoming too hard to browse through, then try using a more narrowed search to see what you get back. So the last thing you're going to do is click on the record that you got back. So when you click on police records, it will take you into the item description page. This will just give you a little bit more about the item, the title, the series number, the agency, pretty much everything here that you might want to know. But since we wanted to know how long these are meant to be kept, you'll see here the retention period for this particular record is AC +1. And what that means is that this record should be kept for 1 year past the resolution of the appeal. So you can find this for any record that you look at on the records retention schedule. And now we'll go to the second example. So for our second example, we're going to look at how long we're supposed to keep international student visitor records. In particular, international exchange visitor records. So you don't have to go back to the main page. You can search directly from here. So in this case, I'm going to search for international student visitor. And this will return us to our results page. You'll notice that the results we get back here are slightly different than previous. We had more results back last time, but these all look the same as each other. You'll notice that in the category section, they're all student records, and they all look very similar. So it's not like the police records where it was very easy to identify at a glance which record we were looking for. In this case, they're all student records. They're all international exchange visitor records, and they're all from the Office of International Services. So in this case, you'll need to take a little bit of a closer look at the information here to find out which records you're looking for. So in this case, I'm looking for international exchange visitor records for F1 students. So I would choose the third option. And when you're in the item description page, you'll see that you get the same information back again. And in this example, you're looking for AC plus 5 as the retention period. So that may be something that you have to do when you're doing searches, is look at the details to find exactly which record that you're looking for. So we're going to do one more example, which will show a little bit more about some of the extra details that are in this item description page. So for our third example, we're going to be looking at records related to commencement. So once again, we'll go up to the search box and I'm going to type commencement in. And this search is quite a bit easier to read since we only got one result back. You'll notice that the filters are gone simply because we don't need them in this case. Now we already know this is the record we want, so we're going to go ahead and click on it to go to the details page. Now this details page is very similar to the other ones you've seen before, with a slight difference. So you'll notice here the retention period is PM instead of AC plus a number. And there's also something called an archival code. Now, this does not show up on every single record, and the reason why is that these are special records. So there are two archival codes you should be aware of, the letter I and the letter O. So any record that's labeled with an I means that this must be sent to the archives to be retained permanently, which is what the retention period of PM means. It means permanent. So in this case, the record must be sent and you must fill out the appropriate archives forms to submit it to the archives. If there is a record that's labeled as O, it means that the record needs to be appraised for archival or historical value before destruction. So make a habit of always looking in the record and checking to make sure if there's an archival code of I or O. You can read a little bit more about code descriptions on the records management website, which is here. But for the purposes of this, just always make a point to keep an eye out for an archival code of I or an archival code of O.